Dear friends, thank you for joining us today. Your love and support means so much to the Rassler family. We gather to celebrate the life of our inimitable Don Rassler. His was a spirit that touched all of us with delight, filled our world with laughter, and sparked inspiration. It is said that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how that you made them feel. Whoever said that had obviously never met Don, who was memorable in words and action, and in the unique way he loved. We grieve the loss of a kind and generous man who made priceless contributions through his business and cherished relationships. As we remember Don, let this sacred space be a safe container for all of our feelings, tributes, and prayers. In our grief, we gather not only as friends and family, but also as fellow human beings, accompanying one another on this universal journey of life. By listening to and being with one another, we affirm the deepest bonds of our humanity. Each of us was privileged to know Don and be a part of his life, and we reflect with gratitude on the cherished memories of our time with him. Through sharing our stories of Don, may we comfort and uplift one another as he comforted and uplifted us. Don's life journey. Creativity is intelligence having fun. Albert Einstein. The world was Don's laboratory, where he experimented with curiosity and wonder. He loved to take disparate elements and arrange them in unique ways, either enhancing their function or simply playing with possibility. He would always be counted on to bring a different perspective to the moment. Don often reached outside of the box, noticed and appreciated things many people wouldn't even consider. His quirkiness brought laughter, groans, and the occasional eye roll. One never forgot him after first meeting, who would most likely be wearing a funny hat or t-shirt with a clever slogan and math symbols. Surely some of Don's adventurous creativity was inherited from his parents, Harry and Eleanor, who met while volunteering for the Salvation Army, where Eleanor's mother was a minister. In their early days, his parents serenaded pedestrians playing musical instruments on the street corner. Don was born to them on January 17, 1945, and his brother J.J. completed the family. Where they lived in Kensington was a tough neighborhood going through difficult economic times. It was there that he discovered his resourcefulness, an ability to see things in unique ways and to seek out the good. Don transcended that challenging environment, took pride in being able to focus and excel in his studies. He passed the exams for Central High School, a prestigious institution, which opened the door for many more achievements in academics and beyond. Among Don's studies was Latin, which, as you know, he used frequently. A favorite t-shirt of his with a Latin slogan read, "If you can read this, you are erudite." Erudite meaning learned. He attempted to teach Latin to his children when they were in high school after unsuccessfully lobbying for the school to teach it. The kids went along with his Sunday afternoon lessons until a few months later announced he was giving them a pop quiz. Thus ended the lessons, and forever continued Don's Latin quips. Move over. Fine. I just don't like having my back to it. Don took great pride in his intelligence, and he was happy to tell everyone he met that he was a member of Mensa. He maintained an expansive library and was a speed reader, sci-fi books by Isaac Asimov and Robert Heinlein being his favorite. He could have run his own video store with the hundreds of videos he color-coded and titled. He loved to collect things, like hundreds of hats, herbal teas, extension cords, and an entire room of holograms. The fastidious way he cared for his collections extended to all other areas of his life and business. An extremely organized person, he always knew exactly how many hats he owned, which numbered in the hundreds. He had a file for each day of the entire year, with tasks written out for each day. He always had several dictaphones handy, in the car, home, and work, to dictate personal letters and notes. Even at the end of his life, he made sure to dictate letters to his family for them to have after his passing. We're recording the eulogies today on his dictaphone to be buried with him, which we think he would appreciate. Science and technology were Don's main passions. In college, he founded and ran the school's first radio station with his buddy Bob Hall, a project they both enjoyed. They remained lifelong friends, and in 1965 established a New Year's Eve tradition of getting together with their families, a tradition they kept up for over 30 years. In his early career, Don took a teaching position at Cecilia Snyder Middle School in Bensalem. It was there he met Elizabeth Wildman, known as BJ, who also taught math across the hall. Their 8th grade students saw a potential love match and tried to get them together. Being shy, Don would try to impress BJ in inventive ways. They would hang out at the bar after work. He would bring a difficult math problem for that he was sure she could solve. And they would play 3D tic-tac-toe. BJ fondly remembers when he really wanted something, he pulled out all the stops. In their marriage, they teamed up for many creative projects, most notably the legendary annual Christmas party for friends. Don took great pleasure in planning the main course, which always comprised of an exotic protein like gilded goose, reindeer, turducken, boar, bear, and catfish. Every aspect was planned for maximum fun, including their elaborate party invitations. Together, Don and BJ had 3 beautiful children, Shandley, Jessica, and Dawn, of whom Don was immensely proud. He took an active part of their lives and always made their friends feel welcome. He would sit at the kitchen table and chat with the friends as they passed through, feeding them jokes and tasty cakes, which made them want to come back. The kids played sports, and being self-employed, Don was able to attend most of their games, which he made a priority. He used to show up wearing a Russian hat or yellow hunting glasses, says his son Don. It was embarrassing, but it showed his curiosity in life. Sometimes his kids were embarrassed by his quirkiness, but as adults, they now cherish the memories that he created. It meant so much to Don, Shanley, and Jessica to have their dad cheering for them on the sidelines. When each teen was in their senior year of high school, Don and BJ took them on a special trip alone. To pay for the trips, he used bonuses that he was rewarded from his brokerage firm, Transamerica, for excellent sales. The kids enjoyed seeing Don in a foreign environment, which made for funny experiences. With Jessica, they went to Switzerland. Dad always wanted to order milk, says Jess, and never knew the word for it, so we would pantomime milking the cow. With Don, they went to Spain and Portugal, where they walked until exhausted, got in a cab, and couldn't communicate the name of the hotel, so the cab driver took them to every hotel in the city until it was the right one. And with Shanley, they went to Hong Kong, where Don had great fun exploring the strange cultural dishes. Don was a loving father who taught his children to enjoy life and did his best to instill practical wisdom. As early as middle school, the kids remember how he taught them how to be good salespeople and the power of body language. Over the years, he would advise such things as, always try everything once. For Don, this applied especially to food, and he encouraged the kids to broaden their culinary horizons as well as their minds. He loved to try new restaurants and unique flavors, the weirder the better. Far-flung delicacies such as jellyfish, chocolate-covered grasshoppers, and quail eggs. Above all, his favorite cuisine was Chinese food. He would take the family out to the local Chinese restaurant where they would have epic meals, eating, relaxing, and talking, and eating some more for hours. When Patrick proposed to Shanley, Patrick took him out for Chinese, and Don ordered almost the entire menu. Starting with lobsters, of course. While he savored life in his unique way, what truly defined Don was his work as a financial planner. Being self-employed gave him the freedom to design his life and exercise his talents to the fullest. As Shanley remembers, on my first day of kindergarten in 1984, Dad wanted to take time off from his job at a company to walk me to the bus, and his boss said no. So he quit the job, walked me to the bus, and started his own business. Don enjoyed helping families achieve their financial goals for a better quality of life. They placed their lives in his hands and followed his guidance with confidence, knowing they were in excellent care. He also had a productive multi-year partnership in the business with Tom Petsis. Don was so proud of Shanley, who took over in recent years and has maintained the excellent quality of service. A remarkable quality of Don's was his ability to remember important details about people's lives. In a meeting or conversation, someone might share an anecdote, and he would mentally file it away. Later, he would send a magazine article on a topic that they liked, or a special anniversary gift. His attention and thoughtfulness made a positive impact on people, making them feel that someone was truly listening and cared. From his very humble beginnings, Don knew the pain of poverty. His success came through perseverance, planning, ingenuity, and sharing his big heart. He deeply appreciated the luxuries he was eventually able to afford, such as his first Mercedes. For every personal goal reached, he would say the Latin phrase, "demum," which means at last. He even had the phrase printed on the license plate of his scooter, announcing to the world his joy and accomplishment. The following poem, entitled "Success" by Ralph Waldo Emerson, captures the essence of Don's achievements. It will be read by Bob Paul.
to laugh often and love much, to win the respect of intelligent persons and the affection of children, to earn the approbation of honest critics and to endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate beauty, to find the best in others, to give of oneself, and to leave the world a little better. Whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition, to have played and laughed with enthusiasm and sung with exultation, to know that even one life has breathed easier because you have lived, this is to have succeeded.
Shanley and Jess will now share personal thoughts about Dad.
My father was a teacher of all things. His method was simple. He taught by example and by lecture. My father's teachings are endless. Let me share a few, and what I mean by endless. My father was self-made and self-reliant. From his education to his career, from his skill with every kind of financial element, my dad engaged the world as a man who would be its master. My father was proud to be a financial planner, and even prouder to be a dad. Having had the unique honor to care for his clients for the last 9 years, I've been able to hear from them personally about the impact he made on them. Not just with their finances, but with life lessons. Don't be a pig, for example. Down hurts more than up helps. Always use an extra number or two. Don't say 11% when you can say 11.22%. And it's not raining inside. Tell people their honest situation. Don't sugarcoat it. And my personal favorite, you'll catch more flies with honey than you will with vinegar. Not only did he share his wisdom with everyone he met, he laughed at and enjoyed the variety of responses he would receive after imparting knowledge. For example, one of my fondest memories of childhood with him was when he told me my best loved life lesson, the one about catching flies. I was probably around 8, or as Dad would say, 8 3/4. And I said, "Dad, why would I want to catch flies?" And I can still hear his laughter. It was around that age that my dad and I were in the paper together for the first time. There were 3 of us kids, and each of us wanted our mom to be our classroom mom at school. Since it clearly was not an option for her to be in 3 places at once, and I loved having Dad by my side, I asked him to come be my classroom mom. In typical DAR fashion, he caused an uproar and had the official name changed school district-wide to classroom parent, and was the first classroom dad. When I posted on his passing, there were over 100 comments, most citing great, impactful, and wonderful memories of my dad. Someone even posted about my dad as a classroom parent, and how he remembers and has taught his child's class some of the specific lessons he learned from my dad. I barely remember any of my 2nd grade friends' parents, let alone can recite verbatim what they taught me. I'd like to think that my friend's memory of my dad is more vivid than mine of other parents, and that's due to my dad's ability to be unforgettable and to teach than to my lack of memory. After all, I am my father's daughter, and we all know he never forgot anything. My father was strong in mental capacity, spirit, and in commitment. He never once missed class from kindergarten through high school graduation, his perfect attendance award being one honor he remembers receiving as a child. That and the one time he ran a mile. My father never let another man down. He fulfilled every obligation he ever undertook. His word was his bond, and everyone knew it. I never heard him utter a lie, nor intentionally deceive. My father relished the good things in life, including music, food and drink, and friends and family. While he never cultivated intense relationships with best buddies, he loved to hunt or ice fish with the boys, and the number of people who called my dad a friend was enormous. How many people have friends like Bob and Lois Paul, who faithfully traveled from out of town many, many times to spend time with my dad over the last several years. I know you two know how much he meant to you. He meant to him. You meant to him. I know how you two know how much you meant to him. I would rewind it if I could. My father was never stingy, though he was a child of extremely financially poor parents who understood the value of a dollar and the importance of saving. The generosity he expressed with his money matched his generosity of spirit. My father spoke openly of his admiration for the female figure, yet he and my mom were a united front for our childhood. Dad, together with Mom, created the perfect balance, resulting in a childhood for my siblings and me that today seems like a lost American dream. Only once did I ever see my father cry. He was bowled over with emotion. I got her, it's okay. Watching the Johnny Cash movie with his daughters by his side after his second stroke. It's okay. Hi. Hi. It's a good time to come. Okay. Okay. I'm not sure what it was about that movie that really struck him, but I'm forever grateful that Jess and I were there to hold his hand. My father gave us a parting gift. He passed peacefully with loved ones surrounding him. The last words I was able to share with him before he died were the same words we said to each other every time we parted. I love you. Dad always said that 3 things are certain: death, taxes, and change. As usual, he was right. Farewell, Dad. As you would say, you were okay in my book.
There is no doubt my dad was a character. And now that my more easily embarrassable teenage years are behind me, I can say he was a character in the best kind of way. Whether you were a victim of our family on mischief night, or were the recipient of an impromptu lecture about the proper way to eat a butterscotch crimpet or another of Dad's life lessons, were stumped by one of his never-ending riddles or puzzles, were lucky enough to attend my parents' legendary Christmas parties, or were a boyfriend of mine who my dad showed the Chinese meat cleaver to before we went on a date. My dad always made an unforgettable impression. In fact, this week, one of my friends told me about the profound impression my dad left on him in high school. During that time, he was on the precipice of becoming what he called a dreg of society. He credits my dad with helping him choose instead to become the hardworking, loving family man he is today. He told me my dad was a role model to him, and he strives to this day to live up to the example he set. This is but one example of the profound impact my dad had on the people lucky enough to know him. He certainly made the greatest impression on me and my brother and sister. He and my mom together raised 3 amazing kids. Well, at least Shannon Dawn turned out okay. One thing that has always impressed me about my dad is something I was reminded of this week. I took my daughters to my dad's apartment, and they were transfixed. There were so many fun toys to play with. Little wind-up toys that did flips, crystals that made rainbows on the walls, a snowman that sings, holiday stickers on the window, and of course lots of crazy hats to try on. Watching the girls discover each new wonder, it was easy to see why my dad found so much joy in all of that. He, unlike so many of us, never lost that childlike wonder. He was able to see the beauty and joy in all of those things. So many people, as they grow up, lose the ability to stop and enjoy the little things, the magic in everyday life, the way a crystal can create rainbows or the joy a singing snowman brings. Children know how amazing all that stuff is, but somehow we forget along the way, but my dad never did. To the end, he found joy in the beauty and mysteries of life. I wish more people could see the world the way my dad did. One other thing I want to thank all of you for being here today. but especially my sister Shanley and her husband Patrick for all they did for my dad and my family. After my dad had his strokes, Shanley and Patrick moved back to Philly from Miami. Shanley changed careers and devoted herself to becoming a financial planner so she could take over my dad's business. Not only did she do that, she was there for Dad every step of the way, and he would not have had the quality of life he did, zipping around Philly on his scooter and getting to meet and play with his grandkids without her. So thank you to Shanley for helping to give us that extra time with my dad. I'm so grateful for that extra time, but I still wish I had more. Love you, Dad.
Don adored his grandchildren, Aaliyah and Ember, Deegan and Sailor, who brought special joy in his elder years. It was his own childlike wonder that made being with Grandpa so much fun. Shanley will always cherish the memory of a recent Halloween visit. She'd invited him over to paint pumpkins with Deegan. She had all of the supplies needed, but Don still showed up with a plethora of glitters and stickers. He and Deegan had a wonderful time making crazy decorated pumpkins. Deegan looked at his grandpa in pure awe with his sparkly hat and glittery pumpkin. The children were fortunate to have time with Grandpa and will always carry with them his love and blessings. They give thanks for all of the hugs and kisses, games and laughter. In honor of their special relationship, Deegan, Sailor, Aaliyah, and Ember will now place flowers in this hat, and on the table, special pictures they drew, which will later be placed in Don's grave. As we tuck away in our hearts the love and memories shared about Don, let us now pause for a few minutes of personal reflection and prayer. We invite you to write any thoughts or stories you would like to share on the cards that were placed on your seats, if you wish to do so. These will be collected after the ceremony and placed in Don's grave. While we contemplate and write, we will listen to a song that Don enjoyed, Michael, Row Your Boat Ashore. In the days ahead, may we find strength and comfort in one another, in the stories that we have shared and the memories that we hold dearly. We will miss Don's physical presence and all of the little quirks that made him unique. Every great loss demands that we choose life again, says author Rachel Naomi Remen. Grieving is not about forgetting. Grieving allows us to heal, to remember with love instead of with pain. It's a sorting process. One by one, you let go of the things that are gone and mourn them. One by one, you take hold of the things which have become a part of who you are and build again. Don left an enduring legacy, a solid foundation to build upon, that will always be an integral part of who we are. He taught us to keep our feet on the ground, plan wisely for the future, play and have fun with life. We carry with us his adventurous spirit, his Latin quotes, his sound advice, and his math puzzles. What he gave so generously will continue on, for it was instilled so deeply and will never be forgotten. Thank you, Don, for opening our eyes to the good in life, to enjoying the moment, and to the true meaning of service. Thank you for playing with us, inspiring us, and for leading us to excellence. And thank you for making us laugh. To your success, we raise a glass and say, de mum. Don's spirit now resides in heaven and forever in our hearts, made all the more brighter by his unique light. In life, he took comfort in the Quaker faith at times, was a Mason, member of Scottish Rites, and several other civic organizations. As we say our final loving goodbye, we offer this traditional Quaker prayer. And this is the comfort of the good, that the grave cannot hold them, and that they live as soon as they die. For death is no more than a turning of us over from time to eternity. Death, then, being the way and condition of life, we cannot love to live if we cannot bear to die. They that love beyond the world cannot be separated by it. Death cannot kill what never dies, nor can spirits ever be divided that love and live in the same divine principle, the root and record of our friendship. Family and friends, with these words we now conclude the ceremony. We will process out to Don's favorite song, Elvira. As you exit the room, please place your written cards in the hat on this table. Thank you. I love it.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we process out, I'd like to make a few announcements. One is if you are going to the cemetery with us today, in procession, please use your high beams and your flashers while in procession. We will put a flag on your vehicle for traveling to the cemetery. And those gentlemen who will be serving as pallbearers, once you have paid your final respects, please step out to the right in the hallway and up to the front doors at that time. Thank you. You may step forward from the rear of the chapel at this time to pay your final respects and then process to your cars. Thank you.